Subbing is hard. That's it. It's hard. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is a lovely Sunday morning here in California, and I am just sitting down with you today to talk about substitute teaching. Because I know when I was going through it, there wasn't a ton of resources out there and it was really scary. So I just wanted to jump on here and give you some tips that I think will really help you out if you are subbing. These are things that I wish I would have known before I jumped into the classroom. So if you are a substitute teacher or you're thinking about it and you want some tips, please keep on watching. Subbing is terrifying. It's very scary. How do I know this? Well, if you watch my teaching story, prior to even starting the teaching program and then, well, after the teaching program, I had quite a bit of subbing experience. It's how I got my classroom experience. So when I first started subbing, I literally had no background in education as far as my undergrad goes, no classroom experience. So the first day that I walked into that 7th grade English. Why? I don't know. I was terrified. And then after I got my teaching credential, I had a weird 6-month gap before I got a job. So I was subbing then. That was a little less scary because I had had a lot of classroom experience from my student teaching. I think I have a kind of unique point of view on substitute teaching because I come from both sides of the spectrum. I've substitute taught with no experience, I've substitute taught with experience, and now I'm a classroom teacher and I rely on subs. So I think I have a really good perspective. So hopefully you'll find some of these tips pretty informative. So let's just get started. Let's just jump right into it. So these aren't really in any particular order. I just kind of made a list on my phone, but this first one, as soon as I figured this out and I learned it through my CT when I was student teaching, it changed my subbing experience no matter what classroom I went in. And this is like the holy grail of behavior management as a sub, I swear. So basically, all I would do at the beginning of the day, I would say, look, I don't really know you that well. You don't really know me that well. As much as I would love to sit here and get to know you and for you to trust me, I know that that might not necessarily be the case. So instead of yelling and screaming at you all day, I don't have the voice for it. All I'm gonna do, if I need to get your attention, I will give one warning. I will say, please be quiet. And then after that, I will just stick my phone up in the air and a timer will start. As soon as you see my phone go up in the air, the time starts rolling. However much time you take from me and your friends around you is how much time you're gonna owe me before you go to recess, or if it's middle or high school, before you go to lunch. Case in point. And I swear to God, ever since I started doing that when I was subbing, it was like, she's timing! And like, poof, everyone would just listen. And before that, it's so hard if you don't have any teaching experience because you try all these things and it's like, you have no rapport with the kids. They don't know who you are. They don't really care. It's like, teacher's gone for the day. And so I swear that was probably the best tip that I had ever gotten when I was subbing. So try it out if you're a sub. Another thing that I used to do as kind of like a behavior management, I don't really call it like technique, but what I would say every morning was, just so you know, I talked with your teacher this morning, so I know what's going on, and I will talk to him or her at the end of the day. And whether or not that was true, for whatever reason, that just kind of gave the kids a sense of like, oh, like she knows what she's doing, even though I had no idea what I was doing. It's kind of like a fake it till you make it scenario. And for whatever reason, when I would tell them that I talked to their teacher and I'm gonna talk to them later, they were a little like less inclined to kind of, I don't know, goof around and like throw pencils and stuff. So definitely try that out. It was something that I found out that worked well for me. So there you go, tip number 2. The third tip I have for you is something that I always used to do as a sub, and now that I'm a classroom teacher, I really appreciate when subs do this, and that is leave a note at the end of the day. Tell them what got accomplished, what didn't get accomplished, what kids were like really helpful, and then what kids you need to have a talking to when you get back. As a teacher, I really appreciate when subs do that. It lets me know a little bit of what went on during the day when I was gone. And a lot of times if they just write, thanks a lot, I'm like, I have to rely on the kids to be honest with me and tell me what they did and didn't get done. So leave a note. And then another thing too is leave your number. If you're constantly wanting to get jobs and you really like the school or you like the kids and you just want to come back, leave your number, because as a teacher, I don't know if it's the case for all districts, but like we're always in a sub shortage. So if a sub leaves me their number, like, you better believe I'm texting you before I put that job up online, because I know you know my kids, and I already trust you a little bit more than a stranger. So if you're a sub and you're wanting to get jobs, always leave your number with a note for the classroom teacher. All right, this fourth tip might be the most important. I did not know this when I started subbing, and I shortly found out that this was imperative. Now, if you've ever subbed or you're thinking about subbing, 99% of the time you will walk into a classroom with sub plans. Like, the teacher will have made sub plans. There is a chance that you show up to a school and a teacher just got sick and they have to throw things around, and you walk into a classroom and there's no sub plans. That happened to me once and I was mortified. Like, absolutely mortified. Luckily, it was a middle school, so every hour I got a new round of kids and I could just think of like one activity to do the whole day. But the thought of coming into like an elementary school and having these same kids for 6 hours and having nothing planned and no classroom experience is like my worst nightmare. So if you are a sub or you're thinking about subbing, have an emergency folder of activities to do. Okay, nobody told me that, and I soon found that out, and then I eventually created a little folder. So nobody really told me what to put in the folder. So I'm gonna give you some ideas that you could put in your emergency kind of like plan folder if you're a substitute. Okay, so one activity, it's super easy, is just silent reading, right? And a lot of times teachers plan for this during when they have a sub, because it's just easy. It's something to keep the kids on task for a certain block of time. So silent reading, you don't need to bring anything for that. You don't need to make copies. 9 out of 10 times the kids have a book, and if they don't, there's a library. So silent reading, that's like a go-to, or it was a go-to when I was subbing if I had like a 5-10 minute block of like free space. You'll find that that happens too. You'll get through the sub plans and you'll be like, oh God, I have 15 minutes of like dead air. Like, what do I do? So these are also things you can use during those times as well. So silent reading would be a first one that I recommend. On that kind of same note, another thing you can do is just like a read aloud. Whenever I would sub for kindergarten or first, second grade, I would just say, okay, everyone come sit on the carpet. I'm gonna choose somebody that's being really quiet, and you can walk over to the library, choose a book, and we'll read it together. And that was a really good way to just kill that 10-15 minutes of dead space too, and the kids really love it, and it's still educational, so it's not like a total waste of time. So a read aloud as well. And you can do that even in the older grades. I think I read Wonder to a 5th grade class, just like, let's just read it. So I don't know, read alouds, another really good idea. Another super easy one that you don't necessarily have to prep a lot for are writing prompts. Now this is kind of only gonna benefit you maybe like 2nd grade and above, because the kinders and the firsties might not be able to do this, but I would just have like a list of writing prompts, and I would give the kids a piece of binder paper and be like, if you could have any superpower, what would you have? I want you to write for 20 minutes. And then you have them come up and you have them share, so it just takes a little bit more time. So it's a really nice activity to just, like I said, fill some of that extra space up. This next one saved me, especially for the little ones. And I still do this in my 3rd grade classroom, and that's like brain break games. Hopefully if you're subbing, you have access to the computer, because Go Noodle and like Just Dance on YouTube, kids love that. And it's a really, really good thing to do while you're subbing and they sit for a really long time and they're starting to get like squirrely and crazy and you don't really know what to do. Put on a Just Dance from YouTube or on Go Noodle. They have like little exercises that the kids can do. It just gets them up, it gets them moving, it gets their brains like refocused. So I used to do that all the time when I was subbing, and like I said, I still do that in my classroom now. Other little things too, just like, okay, everybody stand up, everybody stretch, touch your toes, like play Simon Says, like little things like that, just to break up the activities, to make it last a little bit longer, and the kids will stay focused a little bit longer. So like I said, I use those now, and I use them when I sub. Another thing that I always had in my sub folder was a blank bingo sheet. This is because you can use it for any grade, any subject, and it takes a lot of time and the kids love it. So for example, if you don't have sub plans and you're in a 3rd grade classroom and you have a bingo sheet, and I would always make like 20 copies of it, or probably like 30, just like I had a full class set, because a lot of times you're not gonna have time to go make copies in the middle of the day. It would just be a blank bingo sheet. And for example, if it was 3rd grade, I'd say, okay, write in like a bunch of different products, and then I'd give them like 3 times 3, and if they had 9, they'd mark it off. Or their spelling words, or just any 3rd grade spelling words, right? Like you could just pull them, I don't know, out of thin air. Or with the little kids, like 2 + 2 =, you know, or I don't know, just anything content related you can turn into bingo, and the kids really love it. They're going to be more engaged, and it's just something that as a sub I don't want to say I did it a lot, but I definitely had to pull for it when I had some space of just like, what do I do with these 26-year-olds just staring at me? Oh, it just gives me chills thinking about it because it can be so scary. So the last kind of like little activity idea I'll share with you is 9 out of 10 times a lot of classrooms will have individual whiteboards, and if I had some extra time, I would say, okay, like let's say 5 minutes, for example, you guys can draw on your whiteboards, or you practice math facts on your whiteboards, or spelling on your whiteboards, or you can turn with a partner and practice your spelling. Just having that in your back pocket, those ideas, is really gonna make a difference if you ever get stuck in those situations where you're like, I've never taught before, what the heck do I do? So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. Okay, so another just general tip for subs. This is something that probably will only apply if you eventually are going to want to be a full-time classroom teacher, and that is, if you are eventually going to be a teacher and you're subbing, get to know the administration and get to know the staff. I know that can be really scary. When I first started subbing, like I did not eat lunch in the staff room. I was like terrified of all the other teachers, and so if you're thinking about getting hired somewhere one day, make those connections because it will make the world of difference. My face had been out there since I was subbing a lot, and I didn't actually sub at my particular school, but when I would start going to trainings and stuff, teachers that I had subbed for would be like, oh my god, hi! So just making those connections, especially if you're gonna try and get a job, is huge. So definitely make that connection, and definitely talk to the principal, because if any behavior problems are going on, you want to know who they are, and you want them to know who you are, right? And so it's just something to take into consideration. Definitely reach out to the other staff members, and they're super helpful. Just do it. This tip is coming from a classroom teacher to substitutes. Please listen to this one if you are a sub. Leave the room in a state that the teacher will appreciate the next day. I did this as a sub, just, I don't know, I think it's kind of common sense, but you would be really surprised that it's the worst when you walk into your classroom the day after a sub and it's just like, there's stuff all over the floor, there's no like rhyme or reason to the paper pile on your desk, and it's just like, oh my god, I did not plan to clean for 30 minutes and organize before my day started. It throws us off. So please, if you're a substitute, make sure you take the time at the end of the day to have the kids clean up the floors, make sure everything's nice and tidy, and then just put the activities and things that you did kind of like in order on their desk. Just make it look nice. It's seriously, it only takes you 5 minutes, and it means the world to the classroom teacher. So that is a really big tip that I'm gonna give you guys, especially if you want to come back to that classroom. I had one substitute that left his number and also left the class a freaking mess, and so I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. I'm not, sorry. So please put the classroom back in order. So the last tip I have for you guys is just like breathe. It's scary, it's overwhelming, and it's just not easy. It's really not easy. So it's okay if you fail. It's okay if you don't get through all the material. At the end of the day, your job is to just be there in place of the classroom teacher, to get through the day and to make sure everybody's safe, and that's it. So if you don't get through all the material, that's fine. If a lesson just totally blows up where the kids didn't learn anything, that's fine. The classroom teacher will come in and pick up the pieces. Now, if that's the case, just make sure you write a little note. We'll forgive you. Like, we've all been there. So just breathe. We appreciate you. So just know that if you're thinking about being a sub, and if you are a sub, thank you so much for what you do. We really appreciate you. Alright guys, so that kind of wraps up the tips that I have for substitute teachers. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It's kind of exciting that I have more and more people coming back to watch my videos. It makes it all the more worth it, and it's just really fun for me. So If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will see you guys next time.